The Distance Between Us, Part 1, Chapter 6. After feeling like a prisoner at my grandmother's house, finally my first day of first grade had arrived. And with that, freedom. Or so I thought. I'd been waiting for this day for a long time. Abuela Avila hadn't sent me to kindergarten, but finally I was in school, and I would get to be out of the house for several hours, out of my grandmother's sight. Best of all, I would get my own books, like the ones Mago and Carlos brought home. Books full of beautiful poetry and fun stories with colorful pictures of clouds, stars, people, and animals like foxes and birds. I liked it when Mago read to me from her books, but I wanted to learn to read them myself. At 8 a.m. sharp, Carlos, Mago, and I lined up with the rest of the students around the school's courtyard to salute the flag. The color guard marched around the courtyard. When the flag passed by me, I stood straighter and kept my hand firmly pressed against my chest in salutation as I sang the national anthem. Mago had told me we should be proud to be from Iguala because it was there, in that city, where the treaty that ended the Mexican War of Independence had been written. It was there, in Iguala, where the first Mexican flag had been made on February 24, 1821. This is why Iguala is called Cuna de la Bandera Nacional, birthplace of the national flag. The first time the national anthem was sung, it was there, in Iguala. I looked at the flag with new eyes, a newfound admiration, and as I sang, I puffed out my chest, feeling especially proud about having been born in Iguala de la Independencia. My school was small. It was shaped like a square, with all the classrooms facing the courtyard. It had 2 bathrooms, one for boys and one for girls, but no running water. We had to fill up a bucket from the water tank inside and dump it into the toilet, but at least there was a toilet. We didn't have one at home. When the morning activities were over, we lined up and our teachers led us into our classrooms. We took our seats, and after a brief introduction, El Maestro started our lesson by teaching us the alphabet. He said we should have learned it in kindergarten, but half the students in the class hadn't gone to kindergarten. We repeated after him, and I was so proud to already know my letters because Mago had taught them to me. When he told us to write our names down, I didn't have to look at the board to spell my name. R-E-Y-N. I felt a stinging on my hand, and it took me a second to realize that El Maestro had hit me with his ruler. "What are you doing?" he asked. He held his ruler in his right hand and tapped it over and over on the palm of his left hand. "I'm writing my name," I said. "See?" I lifted my brand new notebook to show him. I hoped he'd notice the pretty curly tail on the Y like Mago had shown me how to do. "You're not to write with that hand," he said. He took the pencil from my left hand and made me hold it with my right. "If I see you using your left hand, I will have to hit you again. Understood?" My eyes stung with tears because the students had stopped their work to look at me. I took a deep breath and nodded. He walked away, and I looked down at the notebook. I wrote and erased, and no matter how hard I tried, the letters didn't come out right. It was like trying to write with my feet. Abuela Avila and Alida always teased me for being left-handed. My mother's father had also been left-handed. Since he died a week before I was born, Mommy said he had given this gift to me. And that was how I had always seen it, as a gift from my grandfather, up until we came to Abuela Avila's house. She didn't agree. She said the left hand was the hand of the devil, and I was evil for using it. Sometimes, during meals, she hit my hand with a wooden spoon and told me to eat with my right hand. "Don't you know the right side is the side of God?" she asked. "The left side is the side of the devil. You don't want to be evil, do you?" Since I didn't want anything to do with the devil, I picked up my spoon with my right hand and I tried to eat with it, but I could only manage a few bites before my spoon found its way back to my left hand. Just like my grandmother, just like Alida, who called me crooked, my teacher made me feel ashamed about my left hand. He didn't understand that my pencil obeyed my left hand, but not the right one. I tried once again to write my name, but the letters came out all twisted and ugly, and I found myself hating my name, hating my teacher, and hating school. I met Mago and Carlos during recess by the jacaranda tree in the courtyard. By the entrance of the school, women were selling food. They had baskets filled with enchiladas, taquitos, and picaditas. The smell of the chile guajillo sauce, fresh cheese, and onion wafted towards us, and I asked them why we weren't getting in line to buy food. Mago laughed. "Our grandmother never gives us lunch money," Carlos said. "You better get used to it." We watched the women put the food onto paper plates and hand them to students who had brought money. We weren't the only ones drooling over the food. At least half of the children in the school were leaning against the classroom walls, grabbing their empty bellies while staring at the food stands. I looked at the glass containers of agua fresca at the food stand, drinks made out of cantaloupe, watermelon, and pineapple. I could see the large cubes of ice swimming in the inside the glass containers. My throat felt dry, but there at school nothing was free. For the second time that day, I felt my eyes stinging with tears. I hate school, I said. Mago watched a boy in my class heading towards us, eating a mango on a stick. She gasped when the boy dropped his mango onto the ground. He reached for it, but then stood up and left it there, walking away in disappointment. I looked at Mago and knew what she was thinking. Every time we went out to run errands, she would look around for fruit or a lollipop some unlucky kid had dropped. Sometimes she got lucky, sometimes she didn't. Mago looked at the mango, and I knew she wouldn't resist it. "Go get it," she told Carlos as she pointed at it. "You go," Carlos said. "Some of my classmates are over there. They'll see me." "Ándale, you get it, nena." "No," I said. She glared at me, and I knew sooner or later she'd make me do it. "Mago, you shouldn't eat things from the ground. They're bad. They've been kissed by the devil." Mago waved my words away. "Those are just tales Abuela Avila likes to scare us with," she said. Abuela Avila had said that when food falls to the ground, the devil, who lives right below us, kisses it and taints it with evil. "Look, I don't know if the devil exists or not, and I don't care. I'm hungry, so go get it." She pushed me toward the mango, but I shook my head. Tails or no tails, I wasn't going to risk it. But my mouth watered at the thought of sinking my teeth into the mango's tangy flesh. The bell rang, and the kids rushed back to their classrooms. Mago and Carlos waved goodbye and disappeared from sight. I stood there under the jacaranda tree, and my feet didn't want to move. I didn't want to go back to the classroom and struggle to hold my pencil with my useless right hand. I didn't want El Maestro to make me feel ashamed, evil. I didn't want him to hit me again and have my classmates laugh. But if I didn't go back, I knew I wouldn't learn to read and write. How could I ever write a letter to my parents and ask them to please, please come back? As I made my way to the classroom, I noticed the mango again. It lay on its side, its flesh yellow like the feathers of a canary. It was covered with red chili powder and dirt. And what if Mago is right? What if the devil doesn't exist? That would mean the left side isn't the side of the devil. That would mean I'm not evil for being left-handed. I looked around, and the courtyard was now empty. I bent down and picked up the mango, flicked the dirt off it, and sank my teeth into it. The chili powder burned my tongue, and I felt warm all over. I stood there, waiting for something to happen. I waited to see if the devil was going to burst out of the earth on his horse and drag me to hell with him. The jacaranda tree waved in the breeze, looking beautiful with its bright purple flowers. From above the brick fence, I could see the colorful papel picado hanging in rows over the cobblestone street. The church bells started ringing, and I turned to look at the two towers at the top of the hill, the metal cross glistening under the bright noon sun. I returned to class, and El Maestro looked disapprovingly at me. I sat at my desk and looked at my pencil. From the corner of my eye, I saw El Maestro making his way toward me, his ruler going up and down, up and down. I reached for my pencil and clutched it tightly in my left hand.